Okay, what is up, YouTube? Is HPJ here. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to another HPJ Podcast. I am your host, Harvey Playing Joe, and I am talking a little low because it is approximately 1:15 a.m. on this Tuesday, July 28th of 2026. I do humbly apologize because normally I don't do um, late night, especially early morning podcasts. So this one is definitely a little different than what I normally would. Um, because primarily I just want to burn off some of the early morning oils and early morning stress. So I have some calming music in the background from, of course, Animal Crossing. This is from Princess Maggie7 on YouTube. So if you guys would like to hear that playlist, let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely do that. Outside of that, really, it is just a couple of things I wanted to talk about because I've been completely busy. If you haven't already seen my main video, I just posted on the main channel. I did post what was it? Yeah. What I just posted was the package update I just gotten not too long ago, which was basically some cards for Rush School. Then on top of the Rush School stuff, I did get some other stuff. I just never posted it. That was my fault completely. And I thought I still had the video, but apparently I don't. You want to live with Al? Gabe, I guess I would be fine. Rolled you and Al, I guess music. But that depends on if this works. Sorry, I am also playing Tomodachi Life at like 1 something in the morning because I completely forgot to play Tomodachi Life earlier. Because I have been so busy because I got an email about my items and I was like, oh shit, I need to go sign for these bad boys. So then when I went to go downstairs to go sign for them, my neighbor ended up picking it up for me. And then I found out all the tea that was going on in my building, which I didn't know about. But basically the tea is that people's items have been stolen from our mailboxes or when people's stuff gets delivered. I left a note specifying, hey, if you can, leave it on the side or just, have the post office contact me. But my neighbor signed for it, which, according to my dad, that's illegal for someone to sign. But if it is, I do apologize because I was like, oh, well, like, I was happy myself got signed for, but I didn't expect them to come so early. They came about like 12 o'clock. I was up by like 10:30 doing some renovations for stuff. But it's like, oh, Jesus. That is like a lot of stuff that I have to sign for. So, yeah, it was definitely just like a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah, it was definitely a lot in terms of that. And then just finding out like some things about what's going on with this building that I live in and how like it's very poorly managed. It's just like, oh, I guess we're doing that. Yeah, I'll think about that later. But anyway, yeah, I was just like, oh, that makes sense, not really. But now it's just also just like, oh wow, that is a lot of stuff. Going into like different situations, it's like, oh okay. Look, like me, the optimist, I was just like, look, it was nice enough for my neighbor to do that, and I didn't have to. But it was also just like, oh yeah, that's kind of just like, and that's not your situation. That's my son, right? And even then, it's just like, why you guys have me sign for it and just didn't contact me before delivery? But then the people who delivered, I was like, oh shit, they do want me to sign for it because of what happened last time. Just for those who didn't know, the last time I had an order like this happen, which was last year, my order had to be redone and then redistributed to me. and I had to spend at least 2 weeks, no, like a couple of days trying to get it from, I had nothing here I wanted, from the, a fossil set. I could afford it. That was really cool. I couldn't get it because I had to sign for it, and then the mail carrier who had it, she wouldn't let me, get it was so stupid. I ended up getting it, but it took longer than I expected to. I do have my stuff now, because I'm working on the deck profile for Raffinato as we speak. Including Raffinato as we speak, but it's just like, all this additional stuff is just not worth it. It really wasn't. Who's the person that I need to listen to? Oh, Remy. Please, Remy, let me change your room, see how I get rid of it. Considering she's my hairstyle. I had something tidy, something artistic, something simple. How about something simple? Because I don't feel like really would do something like outlandishly crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I was really just working on, I just talked to you, was just working on like a couple of things while getting other things together. So I am still working on the Heartbeat Act, but then I'm also going to be working on like a couple more things in the process, just at least so that I can end July on a good note. Because the only thing I have left is my pot of greed for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush School, and that's about it. I didn't order a Dark Magician Girl. I would have loved to order a Dark Magician Girl. I just did not order a Dark Magician Girl. I think that's probably one of my biggest regrets is that I did not order a Dark Magician Girl. That's what I got in. These are the things I got in. Thank goodness. So yeah, I just did not get a Dark Magician Girl because it was just a fun variant of Harpies from like a year ago, almost a year ago. When like all the majority of the cards and stuff were hit. I wanted to build this variation because I've seen someone else build this variation, but yeah, pretty much the variation is not gonna go through because I don't have a Dark Magician Girl. But I did get the Obsidian Knight, so that's cool. But I believe the Obsidian Knight is at 2. I only ordered 1 Obsidian Knight, which is odd. But okay. And I'm just waiting for the Pot of Greed. That's literally it from my understanding. So I shouldn't have any more cards that I should be waiting for. I have to sign for it. I keep forgetting when I sign this shit. A seafood platter. But yeah, no, that was literally like just the gist of it. And if anything, it's the majority of what I already have. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, at least I have everything that I need for just a generic Harpy build. I still have 1 wish left. Oh, that's nice. I think that's really much it on the island, huh? Yeah, that's their house. That's the photo stuff. I really don't have anything else I really wanted to do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like looking at everything in Tomodachi Life right now because I had to move stuff around because I had a whole bunch of like additional stuff to add. I put my friend's cousin in the game, and then I haven't really added too many other people. I have space for at least 2 more homes, but my island itself has not expanded. I don't know how far out Tomodachi Life Island is supposed to allow you to expand the barriers of the island. I just know that one half of my island has already reached hitting that barrier, and then the others haven't. And then I do see like other patches of land that can be used. I'm just like, I can't reach them because I don't know if like I need to add X amount of people to the island, or do I have to like complete certain tasks? So because it's very new to Tomodachi Life and playing Tomodachi Life, I don't know. Especially considering Tomodachi Life on the Switch is my first Tomodachi Life. I'm hungry, I want something meaty. So yeah, this is kind of like my first. Here, you don't have to pork that place. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's like my first time playing a game like this. I really have not gotten into Tomodachi like I was supposed to. But I am now, so it at least makes up for that in its own way. After that, really was just playing a whole lot of Animal Crossing. I've been playing a whole lot of like other stuff. So I was supposed doing good this weekend and over this break. I did not get here for taco, seafood platter. Yeah, so that kind of happened. And then, what else was it? There was like a couple of other things that I never got to like legitimately finish, which is crazy. So, it's like, damn. So, holy shit. And now they got me sitting here playing this whole goddamn game. It's like, oh yeah, shrimp pilaf. I've never had shrimp pilaf. I have rice pilaf before. I've never had shrimp pilaf. I guess it's just adding shrimp to a rice pilaf. I had it once and then got told, damn it, why are you putting fuel to a fire? And I was just like, that's not my monkeys, not my circus. Alright, so yeah. Let's see. But no, it was a whole lot of stuff that has happened. It's crazy because it's only been like a couple of days now since I did my last one. If there's anything that does need to legitimately be talked about, I just found out word on the street is that people are going to be doing a 5-day lockout for against PlayStation in the next couple of weeks. Basically, no PlayStation anything. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. And like the reason behind it is simply just because of everything that PlayStation is currently doing, more so Sony, where they're saying we're going to basically stop creating physical media, and that they're no longer going to be doing disc as of 2028. So everything that's coming out within the next year, prior to 2028, is going to be nothing but, it's going to be the last physical releases that Sony does. I think it's a smart idea, I think it's a brave idea, I think it's a appreciated idea, but I think it should be a longer strike until these companies understand it. Just because you're a company doesn't mean that we're going to sit here and constantly oblige by these rules because you guys just don't know how to get your shit together. It's very true. And that's part of the reason why I think a lot of gamers have just said, fuck it, I'll emulate. Because if you're not going to give me a proper digital release of anything, then why do I need to put any more effort into it? You know, it's kind of the same thing with Nintendo, where Nintendo decided, well, we're just going to give you licenses for the games. You don't technically own the game, and you're just going to get you're going to get a little cart, but the cart, you still don't own the game that's in the cart. It was very, very stupid. And it was just like, because you don't want people to pirate the game. Like, you can say it. Like, it's not going to hurt people's feelings. Like, it's not going to hurt nobody's feelings. But when you sit there and this is how you want to handle these situations, it's kind of just like, I hate that being there. I'm sorry, I'm also like trying to move things around my island too, because I don't, why does that need to be there? Oh, it's just okay, that there. I'm separating my bonfires because I have like tiki torches and stuff next to each other, and also I have like these big ass bonfires on my island too, and it's just like, it irritates me. But yeah, back to like the whole Nintendo thing. It's like, yeah, people were very upset with Nintendo because of how Nintendo is handling the situation as well. And I think even Sony is just as stupid and dumbfounded as Nintendo is for how they're handling the situation. Because I think like this, physical media should stay physical media. I think there's nothing wrong with having physical media when it comes to video games, because a lot of times you lose the digital stuff that you work so hard for. So when you're looking at like the surface level of what media is today, it kind of just makes you like, wow, like we're really in that era where they want to where they want to get rid of physical media, but physical media is what's keeping, everything together. So when I heard like the whole, hey, we're getting rid of physical media for, for PlayStation, it's just like, bad move, PlayStation, bad move. Like, I don't understand why you want to do this, but sure, like whatever keeps your investors investing, I guess. Like, and that to me is just like a big cop out too. It's just like your investors really don't give a shit about you. I'm trying to move this. Oh, let me move this one aside. But yeah, I was just like, I really at this point don't care about your investors either. Kind of hope they choke, but that'd be a little too mean. It's just like I'm just so over like the whole need of doing this or the need of doing that. It's like, I'm good. I want to also move this over. Here, I want this here. Okay, I think that would be nice. Can we rotate this? Oh, maybe that's why. Because I see it from a different angle. Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I was just like, when everything started panning out with like the physical medias and stuff, I was just like, I'm good. I'm good too. Like, I get why you guys want to do all of this, and I stand by it. Just when you see me, well, actually, I don't own a PlayStation, but they're like, hey, we want to do a Nintendo blackout. Like, I'll do a Nintendo blackout. I ain't got no problem doing a Nintendo blackout, baby. Because doing a Nintendo blackout is fine with me. I, like, not pay attention to Nintendo for a couple of days? Sure. Get my emulators ready. Get my MMs ready, because that's exactly what I'll be doing. Get my emulators ready. Especially considering the fact, like the major community showing certain people, like, hey, like, we really are, like, your paycheck. You need to treat us better. It's the biggest F you can do to any company. Like, it really is. It's, like, legitimately the biggest F you can do to any company. And it's like, watch a lot of companies fall if you do things. Like, if people really did get together and was like, hey, let's not use Twitter for like the next couple of days or such. Do you know how crazy Elon would be going right now? Finding out that people legitimately were like, yeah, we're not going to use Twitter for a while. So it's like, no, I need Twitter. You need Twitter. It's like, not really. You don't need Twitter that bad. And like, like the shit will crumble, but some people don't get on Twitter for like a day or so. With just like, what am I gonna do with on my Twitter? It's like, what were you doing before Twitter? Like, what were you doing legitimately before Twitter? Like, you need Twitter so bad. It's like, we can't really need social media that bad, guys. We really don't. Also, because funny enough, I was talking about, since we've already talked about social media, let's talk about that, because my mom was having this conversation earlier about some stuff she's seen on TikTok. It was like, just the trends of food on TikTok, and how like people are really just fucking up a lot of shit that was stuff we already had. So what was the need of fucking it up even further? It's like, good point. There's a lot of stuff that's just like, oh my god. Like, they are just ruining like a lot of foods and a lot of things that we used to have. Like, she saw the greens in gumbo and she was just like, that's so gross. And I was like, oh yeah, I think that too. And I was just like, ugh. And then it was like, she saw one TikTok of like dirty this, dirty that, and she's like, I was like, what makes everything dirty? And she's like, ground beef. And I was like, that sounds really stupid. And she's like, yeah, their logic reason behind a dirty rice or like a dirty this or that is just to put ground beef in it, and that's what qualifies as a dirty dish. I'm just like, this generation is already cooked, and I want no part of that. I just want no part of that. And so when I heard, like, But she was telling me what she was seeing on TikTok. I was like, yeah. And then we had the conversation about like all the stuff that's getting recalled. Like the ginger ale is getting recalled. The Alfredo sausages, Alfredo. I think chicken Alfredo. I don't know if like pre-made chicken Alfredo or it's like chicken Alfredo the sauce. But I know one of those got recalled. And then um, the lettuce got recalled. Then it was like some other vegetables and stuff got recalled. And it was just like every time you look up, it's like something's getting recalled. Like, make it make sense because the map is not mapping. And it's just like, oh my god. So yeah, we had a pretty good talk. And it's just like, oh Jesus. Oh, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in a half shell. They are here. I think this is the most modern variant of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo are coming to Team Sonic Racing, which that's nice. I did purchase the season pass. The next season pass bundle, I believe, won't come till later, so that's nice. I think this update won't happen till later on today. That's fine. But yeah, no, I was just like, oh, I just can't with the generation. It's just like, I can't either because they're taking all of our classics and our dishes and they're just messing them up even worse. And I said, yeah, and this is unfortunately what it is. It's like, it's so many different dishes and so many different things. It's like, what have our ancestors done to where this new generation doesn't even want to sit down and learn the older things? Like, we were having a conversation about, food from New Orleans, because everybody wants to sit there and scream they're from New Orleans, and it's like, some of you who claim you're from New Orleans only want to claim you're from New Orleans because all these famous people themselves was claiming they're from New Orleans. Majority of my family who is from the South are from either Texas or from Louisiana, but not from New Orleans. You wanna know where most of my family is from? Majority of my mom's side of the family is from Baton Rouge. I know I said that really crazy. From Baton Rouge. And I'm like, which makes sense, because I never felt like we were New Orleans people to begin with. And then it was like another city outside of Baton, and then, there were some family members, but most of them were like from my dad's side, and they're like from New Orleans. But they're not like deep from New Orleans. And I know a good portion of my dad's family, from I was told, was also from Texas. Which that kind of makes sense too, because a large portion of my cousins right now are all living in Texas. Lord, I know they're hating the heat and all the other bullshit, but when the times got hard here in California, a lot of them said they left. It's understandable. I don't judge them or blame them for wanting to leave because it was just better opportunities out there for them. So, at least that's one thing. But no, it was just like a whole lot of stuff was just easily coming up with this conversation, because it's like people claim they're from all these places, but then it's like, you guys really have never been from places. Like, for instance, anyone who lived in California has always called California Cali. It has always been something that we've always said, oh, I'm from Cali. And then people were like, okay, well, specifically what part of Cali are you from? That also has sparked some controversy within the last couple of years, because a lot of these people have never been born in Oakland or in San Francisco are calling them like the most weirdest names. Like, I've never heard anybody call it San Fran. No, I've only heard Frisco, SF, and I think that's about it. Or the city. Because Oakland has always been called the town. I've ever heard it called Oaktown, which doesn't even roll off the tongue for me. But I've always heard like the town, the city, the town. That's literally what I hear. Like every rapper who is from the Bay Area, when they talk about Oakland or they talk about San Francisco, it's always Frisco or the town. that is legitimately it. I have never heard anyone call it like all this new stuff that they've called Oakland. And I'm just like, yeah, the whitewash has definitely happened. Like the YT, the gentrification has occurred. Because even these new kids is like, I never heard anyone. I was like, that's right, you have never heard anyone call it San Fran. It has literally been called Frisco. It's literally called the city. I think I've heard people call it Frisco more than I've ever heard people call it the city. I think the only reason people ever said it was the city was because of the Golden State Warriors. That's literally it. Outside of that, I've never ever heard anybody's like, you wanna go to Frisco? It's like, okay. Well, we're going to Frisco. Like, when? Because they're talking about San Francisco. When they talk about, I think, because I don't know, because I've never been to Vallejo, so I don't know Vallejo, but I'm pretty sure Vallejo has its own name that most people who are from Vallejo call it. Custer County, CC, but even then, I don't think most people call it CC if they're from there. Richmond, no, I just really hear people call it Richmond, so that's the thing. B-Town, Berkeley. I think it's only because I knew one person from Berkeley that was that deep from Berkeley. Actually, I know a handful of people from Berkeley that I went to school with, and I was like, did they ever call Berkeley B-Town? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Because, like, Oakland's the town, so Berkeley would be B-Town. And then the Yard is Hayward, which I think I've rarely heard that pronunciation. And then, like, that's about it, because everywhere else I just call it by its name. I've, like, San Leandro, Big Fair, like, all of that. And then San Ho, because that's what San Jose was, right? I don't think I've ever heard anyone call it SJ. I think except for like when I'm going for Yukio events. But when in San Jose, it's like, yeah, no. See, even then, I've never heard anyone call it call it SJ. I've always heard people say San Jose. I was like, okay. Oh, okay, makes sense. It's like, the gentrification is real, ladies and gentlemen. The gentrification is real. Then, what other things? That's the name of my controller, because I just put my controller 4 times on my Switch. What other news can I talk about? Because I'm already up, so I might as well get this out the way. I am going to be doing a video on Puzzles & Dragons very soon, because I have not done one. I still have only a few more days left, because I need to finish the July EX dungeon that I still have not completed. The rest of the EX dungeons just have stuff I don't have. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to build or what I have that I can easily run through an EX dungeon with. And the EX dungeon is basically a solo mode, so I can't two-player it. That I know of. But even then, I don't think my team will be strong enough to take it out on two-player mode. So that's going to suck. So it's a lot of stuff in regards to playing right now. So there's a little deep discussion about Puzzles & Dragons. I'm going to save it for the Puzzles & Dragons video, but it does have to do with, like, a lot of the Lost collabs, a lot of the events running behind, and how Gung-Ho is basically treating Puzzles & Dragons. And where do I stand on the whole list of it. Also, funny enough, because I am talking about a Monster Striker. I know that game from like early 2010. Most people haven't heard about that. It's still going. It has a Japanese version of it, which I had the APK for, and I've been updating. I actually need to start moving some of the older APKs so that I can make sure that I'm on time with the current ones. It recently got an update with companies. It had a Naruto event not too long ago, which I didn't participate in because I really at that point just like don't want to play Monster Striker anymore because I don't type shit, and I'm just like, it just sits there. So maybe I'll just sit there and then I'll just be like, okay, well when I'm ready to play, I'll play it, but it's just sit there. I haven't played League of Legends in a while either. League of Legends Wild Rift is on my other phone. I have been catching up on like Eternal Heroes videos for League of Legends, so I just found out they're doing Classic League right now. Basically similar to how Classic Wild is. Classic League is basically OG League of Legends. With like more of the like fine tuning of outfits and stuff. but it's like the old way. It's like old League. It looks just like how old League used to look. And Eternal was playing OG Ari. And I was like, fuck, I remember when we had to slot like 3 dorm rooms on her because like the lure items weren't scaled the way they were. Getting gold and stuff, like the abilities and stuff, like Jesus. It kind of makes you appreciate how things used to be, and then you're also like, damn, some champions were really just badass back then, and definitely meet their nerves. But it was like watching a game of someone playing OG Ari from like back in like 2013, like was it 2013? Yeah, about 2013. Cause I forget when Ari came out in League of Legends, but I do remember getting her. I did save up enough points that I was able to buy Ari. And I bought a whole bunch of skins for Ari about 6 to 7 years later. But I did play some League of Legends. It was very fun. I played League. I mean, I played League when it was like not like it is now. Because even then, it's like some players who used to play League that I know played League. Like, cause the only person I think I know in my selective amount of friends that still plays League of Legends is probably like maybe 1 or 2 people. But even then, it's like I don't see them play League as much as them because like we're old, we're doing stuff now. So it's like, oh, that makes sense. It was like, but I haven't played League of Legends in so long. Like I'm probably still rusty as fuck. But I was playing Wild Rift because Wild Rift was easy to just slap onto the phone. I remember I was waiting for Wild Rift because, fun fact, Wild Rift was actually supposed to come to Nintendo, and Nintendo didn't want Wild Rift on there, but they teamed up with Tencent anyway, and then Tencent gave them Pokemon Unite. So if you're wondering what happened to League of Legends, well, they just paid Pokemon League of Legends. That's literally it. And it was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. It's like, no, it makes perfect sense. Like, they didn't want to do anything with League of Legends because League of Legends, you know, it has, like, its paywalls and stuff. So, of course, people were like, yeah. They probably said, okay, well, we'll back out with League of Legends, but we're going to do all this other stuff for you guys anyway. And I think that's how a majority of things are now with, majority of all the other stuff that's been going on. Because Pokemon Unite, actually, fun fact, is not going to be at the Pokemon Worlds this year. Which I don't understand why, because Pokemon Unite is still one of your biggest sellers and producer of content. But, okay. That's your foot, not mine. So, yeah. That's going to be a thing. And then people were like, man, is it really worth going to Pokemon Worlds now if we're just going to see Pokemon, and people play Pokemon Champions and Pokemon card games? We're like, I guess. And we still have like all the other stuff too. So, up to you. But, I don't play VA. I don't have an interest in playing VA. I don't have an interest in, Legends Arceus. So I was like, I'm not gonna pay $60 for a game just to play it and then turn around. And like, it's not even how I want to traditionally play Pokemon. So it's like, I'm recording this. No. Hold on 1 second, let me stop the recording so I can start the recording for the next one. Alright. I'm back with the second half of the recording. So yeah, finding out a lot of stuff about the Pokemon stuff that's going to be happening at World. So it's like, excuse me. Let's dance. Oh, excuse me. It was damning. So I was like, well, I guess I really don't have no need to want to focus on the Legends at this point. Yeah, I mean, a Pokemon at this point. I was like, I don't even play Unite anyway. And I think my brother had told me the other day, Unite had a lot of things changed to it. So I'm like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. That's stupid. He's like, yeah, pretty much. It was like, but he plays it. It's like, I don't play it. There's no point in me playing it. It's like, there's too many new mechanics. There's too many new things. It's like, so I just play my little Pokemon stuff. I play my little here and there with my emulators, and then that's about it. I haven't gone back to Pokemon Blue Deluxe in a minute, because I should be on Sabrina by now. are going through the Pokemon. Going through Silph.co, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing now. They're going through Silph.co to get to deal with that, and then I started another game too. In the process of this, I was like, how did I start a whole other game? I didn't forget about it. But that sounds like me. So yeah, after the whole range there, and then for the most part, I've been pretty okay. I haven't really heard from anybody since my whole thing with Mike, so that's kind of just where it is. I did plan some things out for my birthday for this year. Getting the cake, getting some ice cream, get some candles, blow out my candles, and call it a day. Whatever I'm gonna eat for that day, well, I'll figure it out. But we were also figuring out what we're gonna do for my mom for her birthday, because her birthday is literally right after mine. So we ended up coming up with an idea for dinner, which is great, and then we're just gonna go from there. So it's like, yay. So yeah, that's pretty much about it in terms of like that situation. Like, if there are any other things to talk about, the charity rooms charity event will start Friday, which I'm very excited about. From Friday the 31st to the 2nd of August. So if you go on their channel, go see what they're posting, because they have a full video for it. It was really cool too. They did a, in quotes, Nintendo Direct style of thing as well, which is nice. They didn't have like any show-stopping ending like most Nintendo Directs, but it's literally just going to sit down in front of a screen and watch awesome people play video games and donate money to charity, which I think is always the main priority. I might donate this year, actually. I would donate this. I think I donated last year too. It was like maybe a couple of dollars, which is not bad. Just to get everybody to, read the message. But that's probably about it. I think I probably will ask a question this year. Then my question would probably be, how has everyone's summer been, and what games have you been playing this summer, and what games are you waiting for to come out in the fall? Because I have a couple of games I can't wait to play in the fall, if I can't see it. Because I know when Zelda drops, that's when everyone is dropping all their shit, and we're playing Zelda. We're not joking. We're playing Zelda Ocarina of Time. I will be playing the new Ocarina of Time. I'm also going to be playing, I think later on I will play Time Strangers, but because I'm already filled with RPGs right now, I kind of want to give Time Strangers, it's only a thing. But also I've been wanting to take a break from Digimon, because I think I'm just Digimon pooped out with everything that has been going on with this department. Then I don't really know what other games are coming out in the fall. I really don't. Oh, that is not good. I mean, because there wasn't any big, like, waves of releases. Oh, Kingdom Hearts is coming out in the fall. In October, they're going to re-release the Kingdom Hearts stuff. I probably just get an update for my KH1 stuff. My KH1 and KH2. Really just because I play KH2. I really just played KH2. I really don't want to go back to KH1. Even though it's going to be the final mix, I'd rather just play KH2 final mix, because I enjoyed that more. Just like how I went back to playing Final Fantasy VI for a bit on Pixel Remaster. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. I was like, I probably wanted to start a new one too. I didn't know if I wanted to play the Game Boy Advance version, because the Game Boy Advance version does have the Soul Shrine and Dragon's Den, but it was also just like this Soul Shrine and Dragon's Den, and you're going to be extremely high level and have to deal with it. So I'm kind of glad in a way that the Pixel Remasters don't have a lot of their, if not any of their GBA and upper counterparts, or like stuff that was removed and added on in later versions. But I remember during Johnny's 14 stream a couple of days ago, where they were talking about about Final Fantasy games and how the pixel remaster is basically they fix some but not all the issues, which is true. And while some of the games were a lot more prestige on the upgrades from like later releases, I don't think there's a lot of Final Fantasy games I would go back to. I'm not going back to 2. If I go back to 3, I'm playing the 3D version of 3. I'm going to probably play Basic 4. Because I've never played FF4 outside of playing a little bit of it for the DS. And then finding out that that's the harder version because of a certain boss that they changed the graphic to get it to. Because I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. For FF5, I tried, but I just don't have any real need to play 5. For 6, I played everything that wasn't the original version on the Super Nintendo. So I played the Pixel Remastered, I played the GBA version, beat the GBA version, because I did that on live stream. You can check out my archive channel. Or, well, actually, I think it's more prominent to say this channel, because that's where it's going. It's going to the archive channel, which is a podcast. Links below. And then, and I played the version of it for cell phones, for iOS and Android. I need to find mine, and where I put it, because I really want to play FF6 again. Or at least finish the Soul Shrine and the Dragon's Den, because I never got a chance to finish those. And those are going to take a while, because what Johnny and Matt told me in their run through of FF6 was that Soul Shrine and Dragon's Den, from what Johnny and Matt did while they were playing the game, Johnny said basically FF6 in playing through the Soul Shrine and Dragon's Den is going to be more overtasking, because you have to deal with characters in situations where you're going to be fighting a lot of characters that are going to be higher level than you, which is going to suck, because it's like, oh shit. And then you're going to have to deal with gimmicks, because the Dragon's Den is an area where you're rematching against the 8 dragons that you face in the regular world. So, Earth Dragon, Earth Dragon, Ice Dragon, Fire Dragon, Skull Dragon, because I can't remember. Gold Dragon is one of them. Blue Dragon is another. And you would think Blue Dragon and Ice Dragon would be like the same. No, they're completely different. Because Blue Dragon likes to cast Rippler, and then on top of that, don't have Shadow in the battle because it will Rippler Shadow, and if it Rippler Shadow's companion, I can't remember that dog's name, but the dog will get took, and if the dog is a counterattack as well. So like, if you have a team, please don't do it. I don't know if they fixed it in the iOS and Android version for the GBA version fixed, but just as a record, if you're gonna battle against the Blue Dragon for the rematches, don't have Shadow in your party, because Shadow will then you'll get a chance of Rippler, and you don't want Rippler to affect Shadow. I think Rippler can be bounced back. Actually, Rippler is a blue spell, so no, it can be bounced back by reflecting stuff, but it is one of the things you have to watch out for. And I think there's also, like, with the 8 dragons, there's also various gimmicks too, because like Gold Dragon has to be hit with physical attacks, but it'll cast stuff like Thunder, Thundraga, Thundaga. Well, no, they didn't get to the gods yet. No, they did get the gods, but not the jazz. So it'll cast Thunder, Thundraga, and Thundra. Or Thundra. I'm sorry, let me repeat. Thunder, Thundraga. No, Thundra and Thundraga. But I also have, like, it's immune to magic attacks. So you're just going to have to beat it up, so you have, like, all your really good physical attackers, so you can take damage, and you're perfectly fine. Because I remember Johnny used Strago, because I know he broke up Charlie's Angels, and then Charlie's Angels was leading their own teams. So I think it was, like, Strago, Shadow, Cyan, and maybe Gal? And then, because they didn't face he didn't take the Blue Dragon. He didn't take that team to the Blue Dragon. I think he took the team with, like, Celeste and them to the Blue Dragon. It's like 12 of them. So, Yeah, the team comps were very different. The team comps at least had one of each of the mages on there. So Terra had a team she was on, Celeste had a team she was on, Realm had a team that she was on, and then when they all got together to go to like the final area where the last dragon was, the Khazar dragon, or the Kaiser dragon, that's where he had all three of the Charlie Angels fighting together. And then I don't know if it's Kaiser Dragon or the other dragon after the Kaiser Dragon, Diabolos. Well, Diabolos is Magicite that you get for being Kaiser Dragon. But there's another battle there that gets you another Magicite. Um, I gotta watch Johnny's videos again, but basically, yeah, it's rematches with all 8 of the dragons. And then it's a match against the Kaiser Dragon. And you gotta go back through the Dragon's Den again to fight another dragon at the end of it, which is like a reskin of an Ultima weapon, because that's the thing. And then you have to beat that dragon to get another prize for beating that dragon. But the Soul Shrine will already be unlocked once you have beaten the game. So once you've beaten Kefka, both the Dragon's Den and the Soul Shrine will be open. Most people at that point, before going to either one, normally go through the dinosaur forest and they just spam Ultimas and stuff with growth eggs, and they take on leveling up their characters so that they're decently level 75 to 80 to take on the Dragon's Den and the Soul Shrine. Because the Soul Shrine itself is not that much of a problem until you get like to the 4th wave of battles. The Soul Shrine is an amalgamation of battles that you encountered throughout playing the game. I believe major event battles are also included, so one thing that people have recommended is taking Locke with you, because if you level up Locke to 99, then you'll be able to steal items off of other characters, so that you can get other really good items off of them that you hadn't been able to get off of them by stealing from them. Primarily, you want to steal like items that you get later on. I think some of the worst battles that you would not want to encounter if you are playing in the Soul Shrine is pray that you don't encounter stuff like the Entanger. Pray that you don't encounter stuff like, what's that one battle people hated? Oh, the one with Rexar, the soul eating monster. Because you'll have to kill your team, and then it's going to take longer for you to kill your team because most of your team is going to be buffed up. One of the, I think it's the last wave of matches, the 4th wave, where you're going to encounter the 8 dragons again, so be prepared for that. Because Lord knows no one wants to go up against the Skull Dragon, because Skull Dragon rematch is going to be a pain in the dick. Why is it a pain in the dick? Because here's something about the Skull Dragon. The Skull Dragon rematch in FF6 GBA and onward is a rematch with the Skull Dragon, taking him on where, what was it that you have to do? Oh, you have to drain its MP, so it's like a fight against the Megi Master. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Oh, I don't know what it is. I think it's my sinuses. I have sinus pills. I don't know why my sinuses are acting up like this, but yeah, in the match against the Skull Dragon, you have to drain all of its MP in order for you to deal with it. Because, like, if you kill it, it just revives itself. It's like, oh, killing it normally isn't working. You have to stop it another way. And it's supposed to be the indicator that, yeah, you're supposed to use, you're supposed to drain its MP. So, how do you drain its MP? You use Rasp and Osmos. And those are only taking chip damage. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I don't know why my nose is doing that. It is trying me today. Anyway, so yeah, Rasp, Osmos are going to be what you use. Osmos, I believe, is the one that damages MP. I think it's Rasp. Because one of them also allows you to get back MP that you use. So, the crazy thing is my Celeste, Realm, and Terra will most likely have, like, the really good equipment for mages. You know, Celestials, Souls, Damaza, or they'll have, like, Celestials and Ribbons, because we're not dealing with all that bullshit. And then I'll probably have, like, maybe one other character on the team. They'll probably just be, like, spamming Rasp and Osmos. because those are the easy spells that you can learn. I do believe the high spell casting espers will have those. I forget which ones have them. Have rats and ossos, but it's been a minute since I had to get a shed, so that's probably why. But no, I do love Final Fantasy VI, and it's literally my favorite 2D Final Fantasy game. I think my other favorite Final Fantasy game, of course, is 12, and that's my favorite 3D one because I had the most time in it. I played it the most. I done so much stuff in it. I haven't officially beat 12 because that's the one thing I never went to Bahamut and beat 12 that way. Because that's technically what you'll do. Like, once you get everything, you find out that Vayne has Rosen Bahamut, and then you make a beeline straight to Bahamut. But you don't have to make a straight beeline to Bahamut. You have all these other things that are now opened up. You have areas that you haven't explored. There are places that you haven't been to. There are espers in the game that you still have not collected. Because, yes, FF12 has its own array of espers. I believe the game before called them Eidolons. I don't know what, because in Final Fantasy, the creatures come from the crystals are known as summons. You can summon them, I think, as early as maybe FF3 is when they become more of a factor in the stories. Because I know 5 has them, 6 definitely has them, 7 has them, 8 has them, 9 sure has them, 10 has them, 11 I believe has them, 12 has them, 13 has them, 13-2, and 13 Lightning's Return all has espers in it. Primarily, while she doesn't use espers in 13, she still has Odin to her access. Spoilers. So, 14 has Eidolons, or I think they call them summons, I'm not sure. And then 15, I think had them? But Johnny never went through 15 long enough for us to know, because when he found out that the Luna Freya DLC got axed, he was like, well, yeah, I really don't want to, because no, he found out there was DLC coming. He said he was going to wait till the DLC came, then he was going to pick the game back up. But then when he found out that some of the DLC got cut, that was when he was like, yo, no, I'm not going back to FF15. Because I think the last time we seen Johnny play FF15, which was, of course, Boys Night, or the boy band, as it was called. It was called the boy band, because all the main characters were male, and they were all, it was Prompto and all of them. It was nothing but boy main characters, which was really a first in Final Fantasy history, because even in FF1, the white mage was a girl, strangely enough. Like, her design was more female. But, and as time went on, Final Fantasy incorporated more female characters into roles. So, 15 broke the mold by just using nothing but male characters. Like, it's only a cast of 4, and you're basically going through helping the prince reclaim his throne. There was going to be DLC for his girlfriend, Luna Freya, but then Square cut it. And then there was also issues about some other stuff that was going on with Final Fantasy at the time. So they ended up cutting a lot of DLC from 15. I remember a lot of people were telling me about 15 and how a lot of stuff got cut from 15. And they were pissed because they were really happy to play 15 after a while. I was like, damn, that sucks. And then 16 came out, and I hadn't heard much from 16 except for maybe that one guy that everybody talks about who was hot. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's the fire guy, because that's all I remember. Because this is like another, he summons Ifrit, and there's like another guy that summons Phoenix. And then there was like all these really cool graphics, and then I just heard that the game was completely shit. I was like, damn. They didn't even try to fix it? They're like, nope. And I know the characters eventually will come to FF14, because that's still the most running MMORPG right now. And then apparently, FF11 is still going on. Yeah, FF11 servers have never dropped. Final Fantasy 11 was the first MMORPG for the Final Fantasy series, and there were characters from that game that were actually taken, because Final Fantasy 12 took a lot of its gameplay and design from FF11. And how FF12 itself plays is basically how you played in FF11. I was like, oh wow. So they just kept a more structured MMO style, but turned it into like single player. I was like, oh, that makes sense. But I had never played 11, and then I think at that point I knew there were like other Final Fantasies before 12, because I knew about 7, I knew about 8, and I knew about 9 because Kingdom Hearts had characters from those games. And I think the only time I ever stepped outside of any of those characters was I knew about Lulu from 10, Riku, Yuna, and Lulu. Or, I forget who. Riku. I forget what the other girl is. Oh, the one that wears the black outfit. The three little fairies that appear in Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts 2. The ones that are supposed to be working for Maleficent. Yeah, those girls are from FF12. Are from FF10. They're from 10 too. It's Yuna and them. When they become like the girl group and the girls and the trio. And that was like the first time we had just all female cast members for a team in Final Fantasy. Yeah, that was a thing too. So I knew about them. I knew about Leon from FF8. Then I knew Vivi because of 9. Well, I knew Vivi from Kingdom Hearts, but his original game was from FF9. And I asked, I was like, why do you guys names say Final Fantasy? And my brother was like, yeah, because there's a series called Final Fantasy that came out before Kingdom Hearts. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, a lot of these characters are from that series. So it's like, oh, so they're like brother series. He's like, pretty much. And like, that's how I had like interlude all the different characters. So it was like Tifa, Yuffie, because was Tifa in 1? No, Tifa wasn't in 1. Yuffie, Leon, Cloud, Aerith, Sid were all from Final Fantasy in Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh, and Sephiroth, but that's only because of the Platinum match. And I think after that, I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. But yeah, no, like, all those characters were there, and then I played Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, so I got to see them again, and then here's Final Fantasy 2, Kingdom Hearts 2, and there's, like, even more Final Fantasy, because here's Setzer from 6, here's, Fujin, Raijin, and Setzer, or, it's not Setzer, the other guy, Strainer, from FF9, and then here's, from FF8, and then here's Vivi from 9. I was like, oh, look at this cute little adorable mage. Like, wait, he looks like a heartless. Why aren't we not beating him up? And they're like, he's Vivi. And I'm like, who is this precious, adorable little thing? And why do I need to hug him? And it's like, that's Vivi from 9, who is a black mage who was created in Final Fantasy 9. And the poor baby dies. Spoilers for a game that's literally 20 plus years old. Yet Vivi dies at the end of the game. But then he's remembered for his longevity in the game. Is that Burbank City in my Animal Crossing? This is Animal Crossing music, but this is like Pokemon stuff. Alright, whatever. Anyway, because I was supposed to be paying attention to this music, but then I heard variations of it, left, right, up, and down, and sideways. But anyway, so yeah, there was a lot of stuff cut from, brung from Final Fantasy into it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I was like, maybe one day I'll play those, and I did. I played a bit of, I played Final Fantasy 1, beat it. I played Final Fantasy 2, didn't like it. I played Final Fantasy 3, but cheat coded it, because I was not dealing with all that bullshit after dealing with that one tower with that bullshit witch. And then found out Crystal Tower was a thing. I was like, no, I'm good. So I got to the halfway point of the game, and then said, you know what, I'm good. So then I played Final Fantasy 4, but I didn't make it too far in 4 because I really didn't know what I was doing. Plus, I was playing the DS version and not the Game Boy, not the original version or the Game Boy version. So then I played a bit of 5 and hated it because I think I ran into like a high-level enemy at that point. I was like, you know, I'm good. And then I played Final Fantasy 6. Because around the time I played 6 was when HPJ started playing 6. I do own 7. I just haven't touched it. I played 9. I think I got into maybe the first major city in Disc 1. where I think we're gonna go meet Sid, and then that's when I stop because I have a horrible take on that. I never played 10. I never played 10-2. I didn't play 11. Of course, I played 12. I have not played any of the 13 series. I love the music though. And then I haven't played 14. I might consider 14 when 14 comes out, but I really have a lot of ideas for 14. I definitely want to talk about Final Fantasy in a retrospective because a lot of people's characters from their OCs from Final Fantasy 14, people are making like major storyboards and stuff. I mean, it's not like WoW players feel when they make their characters there. So, like if I do, I really want to make a big storyboard and like a big fan fiction with my OC because I want my OC to really just explore Final Fantasy and all the things Final Fantasy has to offer. Because that's why I heard a lot of people who played 12, like a lot of people who played 14 have a lot of good things to say about 14 and they love playing 14 and all these guilds and stuff. So it makes sense. I've never played 15. I never played 16. I played a couple of the in-between games, like there was one for the Game Boy. I played Tactics. I never beaten it. I played Tactics Advance. Never beaten it. I did play the Tactics game on, which was a support of the older Tactics game, which I really want to go back into because I found out Johnny's uncle Greg, was it Uncle Silver Gaming? He loves Final Fantasy Tactics. And then to find out Tactics has a relation to FF12 because of the Panama Rift. I was like, oh wait, I've been here. I know this music. Oh my god, I know a lot of these characters. This is my world. This is FF12. This is the Panama Rift. This is Evilise. And I was like, oh my goodness, Evilise. I love Evilise because hell, I've been doing enough of Evilise to know it. And then I haven't played World of Final Fantasy. I did play Brave Exodus for a minute. You know, that's the game where Ariana Grande was in. And then that one little character from Yokai Watch. And then that meme came up where here's all four of these characters had thrown hands with Sephiroth. It was like, and people were like, wait, when did Ariana Grande throw hands with Sephiroth? It's like, yeah, because she's in Brave Exodus. She had a whole DLC and everything. You got a free character with Ariana Grande. She had made a song for the game. She had outfits and gear. And yeah, she threw hands with Sephiroth because Sephiroth was in that game too. I was like, oh wow. Never thought Ariana Grande would be in Final Fantasy, but there she is. And then I played Record Keeper for a bit before they shut Record Keeper down. And a lot of people were upset about Record Keeper because Record Keeper was probably the best way of 2D, 3D Final Fantasy. I don't know if the game is still up. I think it's been shut down. But I did play the Record Keeper. I did play Record Keeper because was it? They had the Lightning event. I did get Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, and she even came with the song "Blinded by Light," the theme song for Final Fantasy 13, the battle theme. I love that battle theme. That's one of my favorite battle themes, and I like the remix version of it in Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. I love that rendition of it as well. The 13 trilogy has great music. I listen to it a lot on my I listen to it a lot. There's because it's so good. That's the thing. Like there's the one where it's the Unseen Invader. There's another one. New Bedlam. Oh, I love New Bedlam. Oh, I love New Bedlam. I love New Bedlam. Just to find myself through mystic timelines. Oh, I love that. And then coming to find out that a lot of the vocals for Final Fantasy 13 too, a lot of the music from that game was done by the lady who did the Ghost in the Shell music. Ori Tenga, I think that's her name. She unfortunately passed. But oh my goodness, didn't put the music together until someone told me. It was like, you know, you've heard this voice before. I was like, I have. I was like, yeah, that's Ortega from. She sings the Ghost in the Shell stuff. I was like, that's her. They're like, yeah. I was like, no, that is not her. And I was like, I had to listen to it, so I went to listen to was it Inner Universe, the first theme of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Then I went to go listen to Rise, and then I went to listen to Playa, and then some of the other songs too, like Cyber Falcon. There's another really good one from them too. Oh, there's just so many good ones from. Ghost in the Shell is really good music. Ghost in the Shell is one of those OG animes that when I was growing up, I really loved it because it was just so out there. It was so different. And then find out it was even in the 90s. It was like, oh, this started in the 90s? Like, yeah, like it was completely different designs. But they took those different designs and modernized it for like the 2000 version. Then they did a 2013 version with the one before they made the 2020s version. Which 2020 version wasn't bad. I think it was really nicely designed. I listened to the soundtrack. The soundtrack sounds really good. I don't know if it's still going on, but then I heard they're doing another Ghost in the Shell. So I was like, oh, I guess that one didn't last long. But that's the thing about Ghost in the Shell. Is like Ghost in the Shell is still really good. It's just it goes through so many changes. You thought it was Pokemon. Okay, I'm gonna stop this for just a second because I still want to keep going and I have a lot more things to say. So give me 1 second. All right, so now back to where I just dragged Pokemon for a couple seconds. No, and it's not a bad thing. When I say it has so many things, it was just like Pokemon. No, Pokemon's thing about its changes and why I compared that to Ghost in the Shell was simply just more off the video games. So like, you weren't always starting off with like Red. You were starting off with like a different protagonist in their region and different things going on. While Ghost in the Shell, in a similar way, it was still major, but it was a different version of major. But the things that were still going on were still because of all the different things that were already progressing through with the whole nature versus technology, people becoming cyber tech and all of that. I think that was the first time I ever really was introduced to cyber tech or steampunk was through anime and video games, because I don't think any major cartoons ever did steampunk the way they did. Maybe I don't remember. But I do know, like, Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop, we're doing that robotic meets technology type of thing. I remember Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop was good. Not the live action from what I was told, but they at least tried. They didn't get to One Piece level, but they tried. I know I was really excited for more so was, that's crazy though, because they never did a follow-up for Cowboy Bebop, but I would love to see it. But I think Spike dies at the end of Cowboy Bebop. That's why it's like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Because Cowboy Bebop was literally one season, but damn, that one season was just full of magic, and a lot of really good episodes too. It's like, oh my god. And then just like everything that Spike went through and was going on, it was like, this is why he became a bounty hunter. And it's like, oh. And then learning all the stuff behind all the other characters and stuff. It's like, wow. Like how Faye was frozen in like the 2000s. And it was stuff of hers that came out. Like, she was a girl who was really hopeful about the future. And some things happened and I think she ended up getting frozen. That's how we end up meeting her in like the future or whatnot. It's like she doesn't remember her past. And in one episode particularly, some stuff was sent to the ship directed to Faye, and it was just like she didn't want to pay them for it. I guess because she didn't have the money, or she had the money, she just didn't want to pay them for stuff that belonged to her, which is true. And it was like, well, why don't you guys just let her watch it? It is technically hers. But also, Faye has that thing where she did kind of swindle them a lot of times out of money. So it kind of makes sense, but they did end up watching it, and then she watched it from afar, and she got to see older her. And it was also like they had to go through great lengths just to even get like, um, they had to like go. That was the crazy thing too, how far in the future, um, Cowboy Bebop was, because they had to go all the way back to Earth to go get a VCR player. I was like, you have to go all the way to go get a VHS player? I say VCR player. A VHS player? Holy shit. And then it was like, it wasn't even on CDs. Like, she had full-blown tapes of, like, herself. And it was like her at a younger age, and she was talking to, like, her older self. Like, how are you doing? What are you up to? She was a cheerleader and all of that. So it was a whole lot of stuff. And it was such a monumental moment just thinking about it. And then, the things with Spike, how Spike used to be in a gang of outlaws, and then he became an outlaw because the girl he fell in love with left him for his old friend, who's now become his, like, nemesis. And then, like, they have all these revelations. And I think, her name was Julia. Yeah, and then Julia died. And then Spike went after, what's the name? I think Vengeance was his name. Jesus, all these edgy ass names. And then he kills him, but then he dies in the same process because, like, they both shoot each other or whatnot. And then that's how Spike died. And then it was just like a whole lot of stuff. Jet was Spike's partner. Jet had his own backstory as well. It is crazy. The reason why Jet was so robotic in parts of his body was because of he had a partner that turned on him, because he used to be part of the space police, and then he became a rogue bounty hunter after that because of a job went wrong, and come to find out that his partner was the one that did him dirty. Like, there's a whole episode on it because one of the guys escaped and they had a bounty on him, and Jet told Spike, he was like, I can handle this. And then, like, towards the end of it, was like he found out that his old partner was the one that set him up. And then I think the partner went to jail and they killed the guy Jet was after. It was a whole lot of stuff, but it's definitely a lot of revelation. The kid, I forget her name, or his name, I forget their name. But the kid with the little dog, the little cute dog, I think they took back to Earth because they found the parents. Oh yeah, that was like their checklist or whatnot. And I was like, damn, that was crazy too. It was a lot of stuff for Cowboy Bebop that was definitely different from what a lot of modern animes are. But it was like maybe 25 or so episodes. I think it had more episodes than Space Dandy did. And Space Dandy was just a hotter mess too. I love Space Dandy's opening though, which was really good. And then when people found out they were going to dub Space Dandy, they were really excited. I was like, oh, he really is just a male chauvinist. Like, holy shit. Like, at least not a complete dick, but oh my god. It's like, this dude was just horny for titty. I was like, oh my goodness. I forget what happened in the Space Dandy, but I was just like, oh, I guess. It kind of makes sense, but not really. It was one of those situations, but... and then I watched Soul Eater, which was really good. I watch a lot of old animes just really influence a lot of stuff. It was just like, oh wow. It's funny though, I just went from a tangent of Final Fantasy to go into a tangent for like OG 90s and 2000s anime. Cause holy shit. Cause it's literally connected by one singer. But yeah, no. I mean, we all talked about like how good the music and stuff was. I even know for a fact that like a lot of it's crazy too because when you think about it, it's like Toonami really did pave the way for a lot of kids, like a lot of millennials, us 90 and 2000 kids of watching anime. Like there was anime before then, but it wasn't as strong as it was in the 90s or the 2000s. Definitely not in the 90s or 2000s, because those 90s kids and those 2000s kids, as millennials, we were eating well. Damn about our adult life, but we were eating well in anime. Oh my goodness! Like everywhere you look, there was anime. Like even when you think about 4Kids and how bad 4Kids was, 4Kids was still a gateway for kids to watch anime, despite how a lot of it was changed, how a lot of it was edited because of 4Kids. Like 4Kids itself, I would just say this: 4Kids is garbage. But 4Kids definitely did give us a lot of moments in anime history. I will say that. Um, why do I call 4Kids garbage? Well, let me explain what 4Kids is before I go any further. So 4Kids Animation was initially called 4Kids Production. They were a production group that was specializing in dubbing anime. They dubbed anime from the mid to late 2000s all the way until about 2013. 2014, probably somewhere around there. The reason for this was because at the time, getting anime from Japan to America was hard because you had to dub a lot of it. So, the Western audiences could understand. And while a lot of times there were some corporations who were dubbing anime shouldn't have been able to dub anime to save their lives, 4Kids was definitely one of them. 4Kids kidified a large portion of anime that came from the West, including a lot of big titles such as One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. I know 4Kids also worked on Dragon Ball Z Kai when that came. There was also Ultimate Muscle. There was a lot of anime. Oh my goodness, there was so much anime that was literally under 4Kids. It was crazy. Like I think 90% of what you watch between the Fox box on Fox and the WB and C networks alignment of anime was 4Kidified. Even to the point where some anime that was on Cartoon Network was 4Kidified because that was how they wanted it. They didn't want to they didn't want anime to say a lot of things, but then they were saying a whole lot of other things in those animes. Like, for instance, I'll tell you the biggest controversy where some characters were changed for Western audiences because they didn't want to simulate other things. Which didn't leave that too much a marker when kids grew up and finally got to watch the anime in Japanese in like the original language and learned a lot of stuff. For instance, Uranus and Neptune are not cousins in the original anime. They are lesbian lovers. The American audience decided to change the Deep dub, the Clover dub, and any extra releases of that time decided to change that to make them, cousins. They Sweet Home Alabama, Uranus and Neptune. Even going further before that, Deep changed, I think it was Zoisite and Kunzite, basically turning them into, Zoisite into a woman and Kunzite stayed Kunzite. But I think they gave him a different name for the Japanese version. For the American dub under Deep. Where basically they were a couple and that was the henchman of Queen Beryl in the Negaverse. Yes, not the Dark Kingdom, not the Dark Moon, not the Black Planet. No, they called them the Negaverse. I am so serious. And then what was even crazier was just some of the stuff they were letting them get away with. I was like, oh wow. Like, that's part of the reason why I don't watch the Deep dub is because I'd rather watch the Viz dub, or at least to the extension of the Clover dub, because they started to use the music that was originally from the Japanese version of Sailor Moon, like the original version of Sailor Moon. When we got to Sailor Moon, in terms of Sailor Moon for like Super, that's when they switched out a lot of the music and went for the Japanese version of the music. There were a lot of hiccups and stuff, especially with attacks and names of attacks and stuff. But some of the attacks were changed to very stupid names, but also changed to, like, not have religious stuff attached to them. Like, for instance, most of the girls' attacks were, like, insert name of attack, and then, like, for Mercury it was Blast or Splash. For Mars it was Ignite or Surround. Jupiter had Zap or Crash. And then Venus had her Chain and Circle or her Crescent Beam Smash. And yeah, it was very just, wow, we can really tell this. Because it was like, why are you taking so long to charge your attack? You can easily just launch it like you did like a couple episodes ago. It's like, sometimes some of the girls' attacks needed charging. It was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And in the Japanese version, you really understood that because they were trying to channel their powers. Because according to Sailor Moon's original, to Sailor Moon's creator, the girls were to channel their powers through their fingertips. That's why, like, when they transform everything, the first thing you see change is their fingernails. Like, they get nail polish on their nails, even though their nails are covered up in gloves. But the channeling powers from these magical girls came because they were channeling the inner powers of their elements, and they're, embracing their planet's powers. So it made sense. But in the American dub of Sailor Moon, before this dub, the girls did not say make up because they were still trying to hold on to getting boys to watch this anime, even though this is a magical girl anime. So, because of that whole situation, a lot of things had to change. They were really trying to make Sailor Moon more universally friendly, which she already was. But because of how they didn't want Western audiences and stuff to go ballistic, the soccer moms, or aka the 90s and 2000s Karens, they didn't want to have any issues with them. So a lot of things had to change. Like the girls' skirts had to be changed. When they transformed, there was no nudity shown, so boobies and stuff were covered or changed as if they were just transforming into their clothes and stuff. Their names were Americanized too. Like the only one, Amy, or as it's supposed to be pronounced, Ami, her name was changed to Amy for Western audiences to make it sound easier to pronounce. Ray was still Ray no matter what it was in any dub, but the only difference was that they changed the spelling of her name. So in the original version of Sailor Moon, Ray's name is R-E-I, not R-A-Y-E, but it still is pronounced Ray. Jupiter's name is supposed to be Makoto. Mako for short, because that's the nickname they gave her. In the American dub, they called her Lita. She still kept her Japanese name, but it was like Lita for her first name. So what does Lita have to do with Mikoto? And then Minako, they changed her name to Mina Aino instead of Minako Aino, which was just shortening her name from love or essence of beauty to just everyone. Because in Japanese, Mina means everyone. Which kind of also makes sense because if you know the history of Sailor Venus, she was originally the first Sailor Guardian to awaken, and she's the leader of the Sailor Guardians for the Inner Circle. She is the leader of Sailor Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter, as they all serve under Queen Serenity. If you watch the original dub, they called her Serena, which isn't too far off from the goddess of the moon herself, so it makes sense there. Because her original name in Japanese is Usagi, which is translated to bunny, which is in relation to her full name of Usagi Tsukino, which means rabbit in the moon, which is a reference to the moon and the rabbit. The story about the rabbit and the hare, and it's a very beautiful story in Japanese folklore. But that's how they inspired her name. Tuxedo Mask, and how they changed up his name. So in Japanese, his name is Mamoru Chiba, but in America, he was named Darian Shields. And I'm like, what the actual fuck does Darian have to do with Mamoru? Even more so that his last name, because I did get in translation, his name's supposed to be Keeper of Earth, because he's supposed to be the guardian of Earth. Like, he's the only Sailor Guardian who's technically not a Sailor Scout or Senshi, but then he's also holds a crystal, he has a transformation, and he's supposed to be the guardian protected by Earth. Which is told more so in detail in the manga and in Crystal that, yeah, there is no Sailor Guardian for Earth because he is technically their Sailor Guardian. Prince Endymion is the guardian who is protected by the planet Earth. And Sailor Moon is the guardian and protector of the moon. protected by the moon. She's the one who fights for love and justice and has access to the powers of the silver crystal. Which, even then so, there's a whole lot of like episodes and stuff cut and rearranged in the original dubbing. If you want to see like the flat out version, you can just watch the Japanese version of Sailor Moon, because it's available almost everywhere. Because I even watched it on YouTube at times. And then it was like, well, we can watch Sailor Moon in the English dub, or you can watch it in the Viz dub, which a lot of people hated because they're like, oh, oh, excuse me. So a lot of people don't like the Viz dub of Sailor Moon because they don't like a lot of the voice actors and actresses, because they said they either find them boring or they just find them not enthusiastic. And it's like, that's because these guys are really trying with a different script than what the 90s Deep dub or the Clover dub had. Which, mind you, they went through like 5 or 6 different actors depending on who it was over time with Sailor Moon. Even more so, I remember a lot of the VAs from the older cast of Sailor Moon were even talking about how a lot of things were. Like, some of them, like, a lot of the changes were different. And it makes sense. It was like, yeah, they did really just, like, swap you out for you and then swap you out. I think Ray went through, like, 3 different actors. So did most of the girls went through multiple actresses before they settled on what they settled before the end of Sailor Moon Stars, because they didn't finish Stars. They went to Super S at the end of Super S. They did not finish Super S. So I believe in the Clover version of Sailor Moon, I think Queen Nehelenia is not destroyed. She is supposed to have not been destroyed, but they claim she escaped, or she was sealed back into her mirror. And that's technically what happened, but there's a whole nother season before then. They don't tell that season because by that point in Sailor Moon, once you get finished with Nehelenia, you move on into the first half of Stars, which is only like maybe a couple episodes, where the outer scouts get their reawakenings. Sailor Saturn is reborn. They join up with the other scouts to help Sailor Moon become Eternal Sailor Moon, which, because it's a new transformation of power, her body can't manage it. So, it's a whole lot of stuff. But basically, at the end of it was Sailor Moon defeats Nehelenia by... It's 2 different versions of how Sailor Moon saves Nehelenia. If you go by the manga and what Crystal does for Sailor Moon, she outright just turns her into dust and vanquishes her with a Starlight Honeymoon Therapy Kiss. While in the 90s anime, she takes out her wand. No, the Guardians are aligned around Nehelenia. You know, they're all telling her how Sailor Moon affects how Usagi changes them to who they are now. Sailor Moon then becomes Eternal Sailor Moon. She then brings out her staff, and she basically sets Nehelenia free. It's very, very beautiful telling of the situation with Nehelenia, because she was casted away in the dark side of the moon. She only wanted to be free like Princess Serenity, because she wanted to just be like her, where people loved and respected her and her lineage. But what ended up happening is that you find out Galaxia manipulated Nehelenia into doing her work, basically, doing some stuff. And when she failed, that's when she killed Nehelenia. Nehelenia got free from Sailor Moon to live her life, but then Galaxia kills her, which I don't think Sailor Moon knows that. And then the main reason why we don't get Sailor Moon Stars, the full series, is because of the Sailor Starlight. There are boys who transform into Sailor Guardians who are girls, being basically trained, are trans are more so cross-dressing. And that at point, they did not want in an anime that was supposed to be directed for children. Sure, well, the other things you let get away. So that's why decades later, when they talk about doing the redub, Sailor Moon's creator was like, I'll give this a shot, but I'm going to be watching everything. And it turned out fine. So we got an English version of it. I don't know what's exactly going on with the American showing of Sailor Moon. I know they were showing it. And then after a while, they stopped showing it because they lost the rights to show it. It's so stupid, but it's like, wow. Do better, guys. So yeah, that happened. And then it was like some other stuff with like anime and just the whole like dubbing and subbing situation. So like when people tell you about that, trust me, there's more to it behind the scenes than you think it is. And sometimes, yes, it is not because of people. It is just simply because of things that transpired that people did not have control over. It's just unfortunately how things are ran. So shout outs to those who did, stick by things and, keep things together. But ultimately it's just like, wow, this is just a shit show. So that's why I was like, it makes sense why a lot of VAs and stuff. Like, one big thing was, I think her name is it Veronica Taylor? Yeah, Veronica Taylor. She was the original voice of Ash Ketchum in the English dub of Pokemon. She was there all the way from Kanto into Hoenn. And then they replaced her. And she was like, I didn't see it coming. I wasn't informed. The next thing I know, I didn't have no job. And then I think she was ended up playing May. Yeah, she ended up playing May for Pokemon. And then it was just like she said, she was very upset because she had put so much work. And then it was just like the next thing you know, they got rid of her. It's like, damn, that does suck. Like, you were probably one of the most influential. Sorry, let me turn this down just a bit because that is very loud. I'm sorry, I tend to forget that sometimes when some of these videos are played, the music gets louder. Actually, let me just move that around to something more calming. Because, yeah, I did forget some of my music tends to hit some loud points. Here, we got some Spyro Reignited music, but at night. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that she and many other VAs talked about from, like, the 90s into the 2000s, where a lot of them had to re-audition for roles. Some of them were just X without any explanation, getting phone calls the next day from their agents and stuff were like, yeah, they dropped you. We don't know why, but they dropped you. It's like, wow. And I know she said it, Megan Hulligan said it, when she talks about it. I know a large portion of the 4Kids cast said it because a lot of them were changed out, which is part of the reason with the whole thing with why I don't like 4Kids, because they changed so much within it that was just like, wow. And then finding out a lot of this decades later was even crazier. Even for more so, let's talk a little bit more about 4Kids, because I completely stepped off the 4Kids train to talk about completely different things about Sailor Moon. But for basically just to clip the short to where everything makes sense. About around the mid 2015, around 2015, 4Kids basically ended their run. Actually, even a little before that. Network television decided to cut all their stuff for cartoons. All their cartoons and stuff wrapped up easy. I think the last one was The Vortex. The Vortex ended about sometime around September of 2015. So it was still one of the longest running. But it was like a rechange from like what it was. 'Cause initially it used to be Kids WB. and then they changed it from Kids WB when when the WB and UPN merged and became the CW, losing a whole lot of shows in the process. What ended up happening was Fox had gave up on cartoons about around 2000 or so. Moved everything from Fox to Fox Family. Then Fox Family was bought out by ABC. Then they became ABC Family. And I remember this because the last wave of cartoons ABC Family showed was sometime around the mid 2000s, and that was it. They were basically saying, hey, we're cutting out the cartoons because it's already all these other networks that show them cartoons. So I believe the last major wave of stuff was the last major wave of these other ABC Family was for the 15th anniversary of Power Rangers, which is not bad. Then I think Disney had the 15th anniversary of Power Rangers because they moved all that stuff to Disney XD, which was irritating as fuck. My mom was not paying for that, but they moved everything over. I do remember the longevity of things as well because I think the 10th anniversary was Forever Red. So yeah, the 15th anniversary came right after Power Rangers Mystic Force. So I think it was the Power Rangers Overdrive that got the 15th anniversary. So yeah, that was on Disney XD. That was when Disney owned the rights to Power Rangers. That's a whole different story for a whole different video. I cannot go into that. But from what happened with 4Kids is this. Once it was some dirty, shady stuff going on behind the scenes where voice actors were being ready to be laid off. And Konami, who had a contract with 4Kids, was like, hey, you can't stop your contract with us. And they're like, yes, we can, because we're cutting everybody's contract. And we're basically, I think that's how they ended up being sued. Because they were getting ready to replace basically everybody. Everybody was eating boot. If you wanted a job, you had to do a recast. Or you had to go through the process of being recast for later projects or other things under 4Kids. So what initially happened at that point, Konami sued 4Kids for breaches of contracts. That at that point was the reason why a lot of VAs and stuff made their unions. So the voice actors union came right around the time Konami sued 4Kids for what they were doing to the VAs. Konami won, which was one of the craziest things, because I think this was the second or third time Konami had won a lawsuit. And no, it was the second time a major lawsuit was filed by Konami and they won, because a lot of the VAs for Yu-Gi-Oh! Were under 4Kids contracts. So to not lose their cast and to be able to hire new ones for future projects, they sued 4Kids. And then they basically won, and now they own 4Kids. It's basically just an extension of Konami. So all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff that's dubbed is because 4Kids lost to Konami, and Konami won and was able to keep a lot of those actors and actresses in terms of them getting new shows. Getting work. Now, not all of them, because we do have to also understand there were many of them that already lost to the sands of time because of prior things that 4Kids did. Not what Konami did, but we don't know how far that gotten. But just overall, yeah. Konami sued 4Kids, won, and then after everything that had happened with 4Kids, Konami ended up losing. Well, 4Kids ended up losing basically everything, which was crazy. I will admit that I did not expect them to have lost the way they did, but they did. They lost. Konami lost to 4Kids, and it was just that shows a lot about you, 4Kids, that you literally thought you were going to win that shit and then lost. It was crazy. And I remember a lot of people were like, holy shit, I can't believe Konami won. I was like, shit, I can't either. But then they were able to save a couple of people's jobs. Unfortunately, for other associating networks and other associating things, a lot of those people did lose their jobs with those. For instance, Sonic Team also had a contract with 4Kids, and you need to talk to the actors and actresses under Sonic Team between the 4Kids runs of Sonic X all the way to the last Sonic game, which I believe was Sonic. Was it Sonic Free Riders? Where they changed everybody at that point? Yeah, it was Sonic Free Riders because Roger Craig Smith came in during Sonic Free Riders, replacing Jason Griffith, who I think was Sonic for almost 10 years. Because whenever Sonic X came to America, that's when Shadow the Hedgehog. So that was 2004. Or 2005. That's 2005. So from 2005 to about. No, when did Sonic Colors come out? Or when did. No, because Colors came out before the 20th anniversary. Yeah, so about the 18th anniversary of Sonic. Between then. So I'm doing my big boy brain. Sonic Frontiers, no, Sonic Free Riders was about what, 2009, 2010. Because I remember this correctly, because I should have been 20 by the time Sonic Generations came out. I remember that. And when Sonic Generations came out, about 2 years prior to that, so about 2008 or so, that's when they changed everybody. So Jason Griffith was the second longest running Sonic VA, and Roger Craig Smith now officially beats him by at least 10 years, because Roger was voicing Sonic since Free Riders. Free Riders was about 2009, about 2008, 2009. So Jason Griffith was about from 2005 to 2000, so he was about a good 5 years, 4 to 5 years. Simply just off of the fact that Ryan Drummond was replaced by Jason Griffith before they got to Shadow the Hedgehog, because Jason Griffith was Shadow and Sonic for both the games and for the media. And by media, I mean he was Sonic for a while. He was Sonic in Sonic X for all the seasons Sonic X had. From Sonic X, Jesus, my apologies. He was all that for Sonic X. Hold on one second. Let me change this again, because oh my God, we approached almost a milestone in this. Okay, so yeah, he was Jason Griffith was Shadow. He was Sonic. He was Jet the Hawk, and I believe he was all these characters up until Jet's last appearance before Sonic Racing Cross World, which was Sonic Free Riders, because that was the last Riders game that was released. Which, thank goodness. Well, sad, because the Riders games weren't bad. It was just that Free Riders was a hot mess. And I think it was only exclusive to the Kinect, so you kind of know where that was going. So, yeah, after Ryan Drummond, who his last performance as Sonic was Sonic... Oh, it was Sonic Advanced 3, because they had the voice clips in there, because Eggman's original English VA for the video games and stuff was Dean Bristow. Dean Bristow died of a heart attack around that time. It was right after, I believe, they'd already started stuff for, they'd ended stuff for the Sonic Advanced stuff. Because I think he's also still in Sonic Battle. Because if I'm not mistaken, Battle is after... Because Sonic Battle and Sonic Heroes comes out around the same time. So Sonic Advance came out before Heroes. No, this is not off the timeline. This is literally off the release date, which according to Sonic Team is why things are a lot different between like all the different areas. It was a very crazy situation. But no, that's legitimately how everything changed for the Sonic stuff. Was that they went from Ryan Drummond, who was Sonic from Sonic 1, he was in Sonic Adventures? Yeah, Sonic Adventures, Sonic Shuffle, Sonic Adventures 2. There was no voice acting for Sonic Advance 2. Heroes, Advanced 3, and Battle. So right after that, so that was 2005, because Rush came out in 2005. But so did Sonic, so did Shadow the Hedgehog. So they ended up changing the cast between. So Ryan Drummond was replaced by Jason Griffith. Jason Griffith took over as both Sonic and Shadow. He was them for various games up until his last performance. What was Jason Griffith's last performance as Sonic and Shadow? Oh, he was Sonic and the Black Knight. Oh god, I remember that game. So that was 2008. Because I think Colors came out around 2009. Or, yeah, no, Sonic Colors came out later. Because that's when Jason Griffith, that was when Roger Craig Smith fully became Sonic. I remember that now. And Colors was his first official mainline game. His official start was in Sonic Free Riders. So I remember Johnny and them talking about that. It was like, this is when Jason Griffith, this is when Roger Craig Smith took over. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because his voice was completely different between the games. It's like, oh, that makes sense of why he sounds the way he does. So by the end of Sonic, because by Sonic Free Riders, I didn't play Sonic Free Riders, funny enough. I did play the original Sonic, Sonic's Riders game, because I did on that for PlayStation 2, and then I owned Sonic Unleashed for PlayStation 2. I did not own Unleashed, and I did not own PlayStation 3 to play Sonic Unleashed on there. So, yeah, that's how I ended up getting what games I got then. But, yeah, it was basically just a whole lot of different things and a lot of different changes for, like, Sonic and stuff then. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So then, at that point, what ended up happening around that point in time? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because that's when everything was switching to, like, more of the modern consoles. So, like, the Wii, the Wii U... No, the Wii, the PS... Is the PS4 out yet? No, the PS4 wasn't out yet. The PS4 had a couple more years. But the PlayStation 3 was still out. So, the 3 was out, the Wii was out, and I think the Xbox 360. And then everybody was, all the things that were going on with a lot of the games and stuff was part of, like, all the big changes that happened with PlayStation. And all the big stuff that was happening between PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox. So it was like, oh, that makes sense. So, like, the big three are competing right now and everything. But, no, Sonic games at that point, the voice acting stuff, you definitely heard the changes once you went from one character to another. I was like, yeah, these are not the same characters that were in the games for the last couple of years. So by the time we got to Sonic Colors, which was right before the 20th anniversary, Roger Craig Smith had officially became Sonic the Hedgehog. Because his first game was Sonic Free Riders, and his first official mainline game was Sonic Colors. And then, if you play Sonic Colors DS, you heard all the voice actors and actresses change at that point. Because that's when Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, Silver, Blaze, Omega, Shadow, all of them changed. Because it was not Jason Griffith playing Shadow anymore. It was another person playing Shadow. Rouge was played by a whole different VA at that time as well. Because it was no longer Casey. It was somebody else. It wasn't, I can't remember Casey's last name. Because Casey was under 4Kids as well. And Casey was Rouge the Bat for as long as Jason Griffith was Sonic and Shadow. Because her last official game, was it Sonic Riders? I think it was Sonic Free Riders, or it was her in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. But like I said, I don't know much from Sonic Riders, because I never played Sonic Free Riders. I would play Sonic Riders, and I knew Zero Gravity, but I didn't play Zero Gravity, because I think at that point, I just didn't really, I think I seen it and was like, yeah, I'm not interested. So that kind of makes sense. I did hear it was a really good game. I did see a lot of people play it. I mean, it's still better than what, Sonic Rivals? Or Sonic Rivals 2, because I heard those games were just atrocious. And then, Yeah, it was definitely a lot more stuff there. But it makes sense. So, yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely just like a lot of stuff. So I was like, oh, it makes sense. So then I walked away from that. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, that's how I realized that Jason Griffin had all changed over. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Holy shit, I'm trying to think what else. Because Mike Pollock was still Eggman. It's still Eggman. He was Eggman from Shadow all the way to current game. They went through like three different Tails VAs at that point. Same thing with Ruse, same thing with Amy, question mark. Knuckles went through three different actors because Dan Green was Knuckles. For those who don't know who Dan Green is, that's Yugi. Yeah, Yugi Moto was was uh was him. I was like, oh wow, wait, Yuki was. I was like, oh, that makes sense that Yuki and Knuckles share a VA. I was very shocked by that, by the way. That was like definitely shocking. I was like, oh, huh. I didn't know Knuckles shared a VA with Sonic. With Yugi. It was like, oh shit, that's Yugi. And not just one Yugi. No, that was like a Tim and Yugi. So like when he put on his regular voice, he was a Tim. When he put on that different voice, he was Yugi. And it was like the same thing. Like he uses his a Tim voice for like the more adult characters. And even more so, I found out he was Trico. He was Trico and another Pokemon. I can't remember off the top of my head. Because also, funny enough, Sean Schemmel, the current English voice actor for Goku, Sean Schemmel is Lucario. Yeah, no, he's Lucario. He's Lucario in Pokemon. He's Lucario in various aspects of gaming. I was like, is that really him? Or like, yeah, that is really him. It's like, that is Sean Schemmel. I was like, holy shit, that's Goku. Yeah, that was really Goku. That was really Sean Schemmel as Goku, who was playing Lucario because he was on New 4Kids. So yeah, that was what eventually happened. Was that Sean Schemmel was that. Liza Minnelli was Rouge the Bat, and she was also the voice actress she was the voice director for a lot of the games as well. I was like, wow. Yeah, she was voice director for Sonic Adventure 2. And then she was also responsible for the VA stuff for, every game up until they didn't need Rouge anymore. So, yeah, if you want to know exactly what was going on back then, yeah, that's exactly what happened. They did not need her no more. After Rouge's last appearance, and I think, because when did they cut her as Rouge the Bat? They ended up cutting Rouge, in terms of her, using Liza Minnelli, yeah, they had ended up with Liza Minnelli, like, soon after. I was like, oh, yeah. Because this sounds like Liza Minnelli. It was literally Liza Minnelli, and I was like, oh, that's Liza. Because people at first were like, oh, yeah, that's Liza Minnelli. I'm like, are we sure this is Liza Minnelli? And they're like, yeah, that was Liza Minnelli. I was like, how do I know that's Liza Minnelli? It was like, you just have to trust that. There was like, you have to listen to her voice. And then you would realize that was Rouge the Bat. I was like, oh. I was like, and it'd be very fair. Now, let me understand this. I don't care Liza Minnelli. I think Liza Minnelli is a very amazing actress. My issue was that it wasn't with Liza Minnelli. It was how people were treating Rouge the Bat at that time. And the reason I say that is because I love Rouge the Bat. Rouge the Bat is awesome. She is one of my favorite characters of all time. And the reason I, like I said, because she's one of my favorite characters. Rouge the Bat. She's literally one of my favorite characters. And she will forever be one of my favorite characters. Because she's awesome. Rouge the Bat is still one of my favorite characters of all time. In the Sonic series. Like, she's amazing. She's awesome. Like, just like, Jesus Christ. Just for free. Then just like, no. Yeah, it was just like a whole lot of stuff with Liza Minnelli. It was like, how do we not know this was Liza Minnelli? It was like, because a lot of people did not. I guess because at that time, well, this is Liza Minnelli. We know her for like all her other work, her other major things that she's done. And I was like, yeah, that kind of made sense. It was like, if people would focus on like the other things that she's done. So it was just like, makes sense. So I was like, why does nobody talk about Liza? No, it was people were talking about Liza. What ended up happening was that people, like, cause at the time we didn't know that was Liza Minnelli. Like, we're thinking it's a whole different person. I was like, no, this is Liza Minnelli. This is legitimately like one of the world's biggest, well-known, actresses. It's like, how did you not know this was Liza Minnelli? It was like simple, because most people never asked. Most people did not ask if that was really Liza Minnelli, which kind of makes sense now. Why people was like, oh, is that really Liza Minnelli? It's like, yeah, that's really Liza Minnelli. It's like, oh. Well, I wouldn't have known if that was really her, because like I said, most people wouldn't have known unless you knew, like, her voice overall. Like, if you ever heard her, her voice, that would entail you, this is Liza Minnelli. Like, so yeah, that's how, like, all the VA stuff was, like, back then. It was like, this is Liza Minnelli, this is what she does, this is how she, this is like her voice acting and everything. So, oh, that makes so much sense now. Makes so much sense. So, because I did appreciate her as Rouge the Bat, but I will have to say, I was kind of over the whole Rouge the Bat situation with Rouge the Bat, because one thing about me is I will stand for a character, but I also will tell you up front, there are some people who should not voice act certain characters. And as much of a talented actress as she is, Liza Minnelli as Rouge the Bat, nope. I'm good. I am 100% good. Because she sounded like, and this is the thing too, this is why I didn't like when Casey was Rouge the Bat, was that it sounded just like a chain smoker. And I'm just like, isn't she like 17? And y'all is in here making her sound like a chain smoker? I think I brought this up in the video. It was like, Rouge the Bat is one of my favorite characters in the Sonic franchise. But why does she sound like, she's one of the oldest farts on the planet? Like, why does she sound like this? Was it really just because of the fact that, yeah, they really did not give much effort into her being Rouge the Bat? Or, like, I don't know, like, the voice direction, things were not right when it came to Rouge the Bat. And, like, even right now, the controversy between the current voice actress with Rouge the Bat was just like, oh, yeah, never mind. I'll stay quiet. But wow, it's just like, the more you listen to, like, and you hear about things, it's just like, damn. Because I don't know how Rouge sounds in Sonic Prime, so I believe that was a completely different actress for Rouge the Bat Yeah, that was a completely different actress who reached the back. And in Sonic Prime. So forgive me for not knowing because I really don't know if they had her the same as she was, or was that her. I just know that yeah, they did change her VA at that point in time. I believe it's still Rouge for the video games. It's still the current Rouge, but it's a whole different Rouge that was in Sonic Prime. Because it was a whole different team, I think. Yeah, it was a whole different team for Sonic Prime. I didn't watch Sonic Prime. I'm just going to get that out there right now. I did not watch Sonic Prime. I had no interest in Sonic Prime. I gave up on watching Sonic Prime literally because of how a lot of other things with Sonic Team was going at that point, which was perfectly fine. But it was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good on this. But I heard it, like I said, I heard mixed reviews about it. Like, I heard it was good, and I heard it was bad, and I heard it was like okay, and then people were like, it's not holding up to what people's expectations of it was supposed to be. I'm like, well, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but people were like, yeah, no, they gave it a shot, but then it was just like how things panned out and ended was just like a hot mess. And I did hear about that. I was like, oh, kind of glad you guys did jump that ship. But yeah, that's ultimately how I found out about like what was going on with Sonic Prime and stuff. And then there was some more stuff going on with like VAs and stuff. Cause that was when they had the conversation about who was returning for the wave of Sonic games. Because it was like there is, because where are people coming back? And then voice actors was like, well, we don't know, but if we know, we'll tell you. And it was just like Sonic Team was really hush hush about it. So I believe that was 30th anniversary. They were really hush hush about things. So it's like, I don't think y'all need to be hush hush because people really want to know, like, are these people coming back? Like, are these people really coming back? Like, who's coming back? Who's not coming back? Because we would like to know, so then that way, people can say, hey, such and such is coming back, or such and such is not coming back. Like, make it make sense. So, from what I remember, from what my understanding is during that whole time frame, it was all questions in the air. My apologies. I forget some of these music transitions get louder. But yeah, it was basically a whole lot of different things going on. There was a whole lot of back and forth, a whole lot of ups and downs with the VAs at that point. And then it became a whole different conversation. It's like, that makes sense. So, yeah, it was definitely a lot of that going on. I was like, holy shit. Like, they really did just, like, move stuff around. It was like, yep, they sure did. They moved a lot of people around. I was like, holy fuck. Like, that is bananas. It's like, nope, that is just what happens with VA work. Makes sense. So, yeah, no, I was like, holy shit, that is crazy. Yeah. So, a lot of that went on. A lot of that panned out. And that's just like why a lot of people were changed. A lot of people, were getting, moved around. It was like, makes sense. So, then what else happened? Because, like, the VA stuff was one thing, and then just learning and hearing about all the other VA stuff was like, yeah, it makes sense. So, it's like one thing after another, and it was just like, yeah, the change ups were real. So, yeah. That's what ended up happening. And then some other things was like So like other things were said, some other things were like put into perspective. So it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. Like learning about the stuff that was said and learning about the stuff that was being talked about. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. It definitely was just like, So, yeah, that's what things are. I think there's probably not much else to talk about because I'll probably have another podcast up probably next week. If not by the end of this week, next week, because I kind of need to get these things together, don't I? Yeah, I kind of need to. But no, I do appreciate y'all for having the chance to come and listen to this, and I think it's probably my longest podcast. This really is. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and listening to the HPJ podcast. I will then have some more stuff coming up. Like I said, I'm still working on getting my decks ready because now the majority of my stuff is finally come, which is awesome. Then, yeah, I still have a lot of other stuff going on, which is good, which is really, really good. But, yeah, no. I will just be getting everything else together, so hopefully things will work out alright. Outside of that, that was amazing. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I do need to change up the things on my main account, so you guys can also understand what was going on because, well, for spoilers, I had to fix my link situation for all my accounts because, funny enough, what happened was Linktree charges for almost every fucking thing. And I didn't notice because I haven't used Linktree in so long. So I'm thinking all my links and stuff were perfectly fine. Some of them were outdated, some of them need to be updated, and then coming to find out some of those things needed to be rearranged and fixed, and I was doing a whole bunch of stuff that needed to be added anyway. So I was like, okay, I need to fix this, and I did. I was like, but then I couldn't because Linktree wasn't letting me finish. So I basically need to go delete all my stuff from Linktree, delete all my stuff from Milkshake, and then just use link in bio for right now till. Because I think link in bio might just be my big thing. So yeah. Outside of that, really, I just want to just say thank you because it really was. It's been a really amazing thing for me. I really do appreciate it, and definitely just a lot more things to go forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else really to say. If anything, I will just keep you guys informed of when my next podcast will be. I want to take either Sunday or either Sunday or Monday, but also depends on when I have to go back to work, because likely be later on in that week. So 9 10, I will just keep you guys informed. But I will update my link tree and stuff for you guys. So you guys will remove the link tree and put the link in bio link up there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. HPJ signing out. Okay, bye-bye.